Hi everyone, I'm Lubomira and thank you for joining me. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome to my channel, and if you're returning, it's great to have you back. I'm excited to be sharing my second episode of my new card making series where I take a look into my stash and try to create cards for multiple seasons using a shared stamp set, stencil, or die. This way I can stretch the usage of my supplies and avoid buying more things that I don't necessarily need. Now, if you like my videos and would like to see more of them, remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you never miss out on any of the crafty goodness. It's October, and have you noticed all the Christmas decorations already out right next to the Halloween stuff? Nothing puts you into the holiday spirit like seeing a jack-o'-lantern next to a Jack Frost. But seriously, that got me thinking. Wouldn't it be great if we could use a Halloween stamp or stencil for a Christmas card? Well, why can't we? And that got me thinking. You see me use the stamp set in the first episode, but this time I'm featuring it as the main element for these cards. These were so much fun to make, and I can't wait to show you. Let's just jump into the video. First, I stamped all my images from the Hero Arts Witch Feet stamp set at once for both cards. I went ahead and used Simon Says ink in the colors High Dive, Lakeshore, and Magnolia for the first Witch Feet stamp, and Intense Black for the second. As always, there's a list of all the supplies I used down in the description below. Once I had those stamped, I started working on an ink-blended background for my Halloween card. I chose the Distress Oxide Ink, Chipped Sapphire, Seedless Preserve, Dried Marigold, Scattered Straw, and Antique Linen. These colors create one of the prettiest skies. The panel I'm working on is for a slimline card, so I don't have much room to blend all these colors, but it still works. After creating the background, I die cut a slimline stitch panel from it and then freehanded a drawing of a spider web in a corner of each side of the panel. I used a glitter pen for this. I originally wanted to stamp an image of a web, but as it turns out, I didn't have a spider web in my stash, and keeping true to the spirit of the series, I opted out of ordering one and used things I already had on hand. It wasn't difficult to do. You may notice, though, that in my finished version, my web is metallic silver rather than just glittery, and that's because I went over the lines with another pen later on off camera, so I could see the web a little bit better. I also added some splatter using Perfect Pearl and water solution and some embellishments to the finished card off camera. Once I had my panel done, it was time for die cutting, and lots of it. I did all of this off camera. I wanted to create the word Halloween out of freestanding letters. To do this, I used Pink Fresh Studio alphabet dies. These are the Heather lowercase and Leah ornate uppercase. They are the only alphabet dies I own, and I love them, but use whatever you have on hand. After die cutting everything, I stack my letters with 3 layers of white cardstock and a top layer of black. To place my letters, I used glue and the help of my mat and some post-it tape because I couldn't find my T-square. Now be careful how you place your glue because it can seep out from behind and it will activate the oxide ink. I'm not too picky about this, but if you are, just keep that in mind. I placed all my letters and left them to dry for a bit. By now, you've noticed that I left the space for the L's blank, and that's where I intend to put the witch's feet. Before putting them in place, I colored them very quickly using Copic markers in purple and gray colors. For those colors, check the description below. When they're colored and done, I pop them on some foam tape and place them onto my card. I pop my Cricut made sentiment, have a wicked on top of the Halloween with foam tape as well, and then mount the entire panel onto a black piece of cardstock using a combination of foam tape and liquid glue before attaching it to the card base. To finish off the card, I add some Nuvo drops in clear, which pick up the colors of the ink beneath them as they dry. If you want just clear drops, you can always make them beforehand using a nonstick surface and then place them, or just buy pre-made dots. So that finishes the first card, and on to the next. This is going to be a completely different look. I had all my stamping done from earlier, so I start with the card base, which is a mini slimline card. To create my background, I grabbed a rainbow Chevron paper and embossing folder from Darice. I didn't have much of this paper on hand, and since it's so colorful, I didn't need much anyway. I really was just interested in the parts that color coordinated with the stamped images. I matched these colors best as I could using my supplies. Again, we are trying to use things we have for these projects. I embossed a white piece of paper using the folder. This folder really was meant to create standard A2 cards, so it's too short to fit the length of a slimline card, but that's okay. I wanted to use this panel in the middle of my design, while the colorful paper peeks out from behind it. I cut my patterned paper into 2 strips and then trimmed my white panel so it would fit the card base. Next, I glued my pattern paper directly to my card base, one on top and one on bottom along the edges. I lined up the colors so that they would look like it was one full piece without actually having a full piece. And then I snipped off the extra with scissors. I added my white embossed panel to the card base by using a combination of liquid glue and foam tape. To help me align it, I use my scoreboard to make sure the edges are lined up. My card base is done, and now for the feet. I went ahead and added some little details to the feet with the silver gel pen. I colored the buckles, added stripe to the legs, and small round circles to the tippy toes to serve as bells. My witch feet are now elf feet. I attach my feet to the card using foam tape and add my Cricut made merry and bright sentiment to the front of the card. Again, to finish it off, I add some Nuvo drops in the color Caribbean Ocean, Party Pink, and Nuvo crystal drops in the color Sea Breeze. So what do you think? Which is your favorite card? And do you have any holiday occasion stamps that you can flip into another holiday? I bet you do. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your ideas. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye!